Welcome to One of Those, the show that explores the art of sneaker culture. I'm your host, Adam Butler, back with another episode. Thank you so kindly for being here. Well, people, I have to say that today is a bittersweet episode of the One of Those podcast. I'm going to jump right into it because I'm going to spend most of the show talking about this and you. Next week's episode will be the last episode of the What Are Those podcasts. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's sad, but it's also, as I say, bittersweet because I am moving on. I am growing in my content. And I am not going anywhere in terms of my face on camera where you can watch and listen and enjoy my opinions on all sorts of things. You all know there's the Butler did it. Sorry, I don't have a haircut. There's the Butler did it. That's the brand now. And some things could be happening, but either way, that podcast continues. But I wanted to spend some time just sort of talking about how this podcast began, why it's important to me, and why it's been a blessing to not only be a part of this team and this network, but also to talk about something I enjoy and love. So let's start at the beginning. This show started, honestly, just from a love of sneakers, a love of sneaker culture, hip hop culture, black culture. I say this all the time. Sneaker culture is a subculture of hip hop culture, which is a subculture of black culture. I'm always holding it down for black folks and black culture, not to be a separatist, right? Not to separate, but to unite. And I think the only way to really unite is to understand people's cultures. Now, sneaker culture has grown. Sneaker culture has become about all people, which is beautiful, but it's birthed in a certain place. And I'm always here to remind people of that. And that's why some of the guests that I've had on this show, pretty much everyone I've had on this show, I'm very proud of because I picked them intentionally. I picked some of the women that's been on this show intentionally. I picked my friends intentionally. I picked, some of the celebs that I've been blessed to interview. And next week, we're going to go through all of them. And I'm going to have, basically, let me just let you know right now, next week is going to be some best of. And then I'm going to also have some of my favorite guests, if I can get them to return back onto the show. At least one or two of them. At the very least, you'll hear from my man, Paul Spann, who is a big part of this show, who I want to say thank you to. I want to say thank you to Mike Sykes. I want to say thank you to Puma. I want to say thank you to my man B. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thank you to Jalissa Nicole. I want to say thank you to my man Shake, right? I want to say thank you to everybody that came on this show because you helped me tell that story. So let's go back. Like I said, my love for sneaker culture and hip hop comes from my father. It comes from the community that I was born in. I mentioned my father because, unlike a lot of parents, right? I wasn't riding around listening to Luther Vandross and stuff like that. Shouts out to Luther Vandross. I was riding around listening to Public Enemy, Ice-T. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to hip hop. I grew up around hip hop and go-go. I grew up in a hip hop generation. One of the first hip hop generations, one of the first generations to be born into hip hop. So my love of sneakers and my love of streetwear and just black culture, all things black culture, comes from that. And I am very proud of that. So in my work, I've always wanted to illustrate that. I've always wanted that to be a part of something I do. I work in news professionally. I have for about 15 years now. I've worked for several different news organizations. I've always tried to find a way to weave in my culture and what's important to me inside of even that, right? my projects, MSR, Mindstream, Butler did it. My films, I'm Single Because, and What Are Those, which we'll get to. I have always tried to weave in my personal beliefs into that. Not to be biased, but to be truly representative of myself. When you are blessed to do something like this, you best do right by it. I hope I did right by the What Are Those podcasts. I really do. It was a dream, frankly. I've had several different podcasts. I've had 2 sports podcasts. I've had, like I said, the MSR podcast was just pretty much about everything. The Butler did a podcast, which is very much different. But the What Are Those show was something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And it was something that I had nothing but fun doing. What Are Those started off as a documentary film about something I love, which is sneakers and sneaker culture. There had been documentaries and films and TV shows and books and all sorts of stuff about sneaker culture, but in my opinion, I don't think anyone really touched on the art of sneaker culture. That's why this show is called What Are Those? The Art of Sneaker Culture, right? That's why you hear me say, welcome to What Are Those? The show that explores the art of sneaker culture. It is an art. Sneakers are wearable art. I know you probably can't see them back there, but these are the Olympic 7s. This is like art. These things are cooked. But I have them on my display. I put sneakers on my display behind me because they're artwork to me. Everything about this is beauty. When you wear this, it evokes different emotions. It brings up different memories for different people. You know, some people think about the Barcelona team. Some people just think about the colors. Some people just think about Michael Jordan. Some people think about a time in their life. That's what art is supposed to do. Art is supposed to get you talking. And nothing gets you talking more than a dope pair of shoes, and specifically a dope pair of sneakers. So I wanted to do this documentary about it. I worked on this documentary. I interviewed a lot of cool people for the documentary, a lot of friends, a lot of people I don't know. And it turned out well. Came out in the middle of the pandemic, though. By the time we were able to finish editing, and everybody that worked on that film, man, shouts out to you. By the time we were done editing the film and really getting it done and right, and it never really was, to be honest with you, completely right, but right enough. Pandemic hits, can't do screenings for it, so I did kind of some virtual screenings for it, and it did pretty well. But I knew I wasn't done with it. Like, okay, we told this story, but there's more. So I thought about doing a part 2 to the documentary. You know, what can we do to further the conversation? That's when the idea came up with, well, how about we do some type of YouTube project, or maybe even a podcast. Now, at the time, I just got married. Okay, we had just moved into this house. Things were moving kind of fast for me. In the beginning, I did not have time to do a full 30-minute podcast, right? What I thought I could do is like a little 5-minute hit. At the time, Instagram still had IGTV, and okay, we could throw something up on there. So I started doing my research. I started looking around because perhaps I could partner with someone on this. Maybe this is something I don't need to do by myself. In the meantime, I put up the IG page Sneaks in the City, which is just a little page to showcase sneakers. And most of it's just mine. But the idea was, and I think I'm going to relaunch that one and really get back into that one. The idea was to kind of catch people out and about. Hey, what's that on your feet? Tell me about what's on your feet. Be on the lookout for that. So we doing that. I'm doing that. And then I'm pitching around the idea of What Are Those? And I meet the good folks over at On My Feet. Shouts out to them, man. Frankly, this show doesn't get done without them. I have to give them credit. They came through, Dustin, AJ, Brian, the whole team, and we were able to create a shorter form of this show. This is like 2021, I think. Maybe the end of 2020, but definitely 2021. And we came up with a short version of this show, What Are Those? And it was just a short version, I had a couple quick interviews. The show was no longer than 7-8 minutes because it was on IGTV. Short little hits. I did a heat check to show you what, because it was all visual. I did a heat check to kind of show you what I was wearing or what I copped, whatever. And it was working and it was cool. And, frankly, I was getting a little check for it as well, man. I was in a great place because I was talking about something I love. And a lot of my other content is a little heavier. We talking about politics. We talking about social issues. We talking about mental health. I was loving doing that. But to have this show in this little pocket, in this little multiverse where I just talk sneakers and just be able to just enjoy and have fun was a true, and has been a true blessing. So we did the What Are Those show only on My Feet on their IG page for about a year. About a year passes and my man Ricardo shouts up. No, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. My man Narik, Reek, who I've known for a while, who is a power player in DC. Never got the opportunity to get him on this show, man. Me and Reek been trying to set up an interview on all my podcasts for some time now. It just hasn't worked out. But my man Reek hits me up and he says, yo, I see you doing your thing with the sneaker show. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool little thing I do. You know what I mean? Again, it wasn't supposed to be the brand. It's a cool thing I do. You know what I mean? It shows off another personality, another piece of my personality. Very happy and very proud to do it. Reek say, well, look, man, I got some folks, my man Cardo, shouts out to Ricardo, and LeVar Arrington. For those of you that don't know who LeVar Arrington is, you should know, is a all-pro linebacker. Spent years playing for my hometown, then called Washington Redskins. Now they are the Washington Commanders. LeVar in this area is a legend. LeVar is a legend. LeVar and Ricardo, they're looking for a sneaker show. Wow. I have a sneaker show. And I've always wanted to sort of transition this to a longer form podcast. So maybe there's an opportunity. So I had my conversations with Ricardo. I had my conversations with LeVar. I'm signed to OMF. We come together and we create something amazing. And since then, I've been rolling. We sort of reset and relaunched this show. So if you look at the totality of it, I've been doing this for about 2.5 years. It's been about a year and a half solid. I think my math is probably off, but I've been with OMF for about 6 seasons now. I'm sorry, I've been with Up On Game, which is LeVar Arrington's network, the network we're on, for about 6 seasons now, man. I was the first show to launch on the network. The first show. Now, yeah, it was a bunch of shows I've already done, and Conversations with a Legend and Two Joes and all the stuff. They were already doing this, okay? But the first podcast outside of LeVar's podcast to launch was this show. We had a girl TJ on, and it was on from there, man. And this has been a labor of love. This has been a complete joy. It's been incredible to not only just talk about something I love and that's just easy to talk about. I don't even bring scripts in here, man. It's just easy to just cut the camera on and just talk. But also to share this love and this culture with the masses. I've always thought that, if I'm going to talk about the art of sneaker culture, then this show isn't really for the sneaker head. This show is for the person that is curious about sneakers, that's curious about my brother. Why does my brother have all those shoes? Or why does my son want these shoes? Or why do I see people spending all this money on these shoes, or waiting in line, or stressing out over the sneakers app, or what have you? For the person that says, you know what, I like this stuff, but what do I buy? Where do I buy it? How do I figure out what is what? I've always taken pride in like the mom that hit me up and be like, yo, man, I'm trying to get these sneakers for my son. What do I cop? Or, hey, man, hey, Adam, look what I bought. I love that. And I love you all for that. So let's talk about you all for a moment. Anybody that's a content creator, anybody that's got the balls to just hop on the microphone, cut on the camera, talk, whether it be amongst them, their friends, or by themselves, or however you choose to do this podcasting thing, or this content creation thing. However you create content, the engine that keeps it going, the thing that keeps us consistent, and I don't know if you all understand this, is you. It's hard to do this when you don't think anyone's listening. It's hard to do this when you're not getting feedback. It's hard to do this when you think you're speaking into just like a dark tunnel. You have to keep going. Now, that's what I would say to my content creators that may be watching this show. You have to keep going no matter what. Though you have to try the way to fight through. But it's easier when we know that you care because we're doing it for you. At least I am. So all of the debates a couple weeks ago, people were debating about that Romero 5. A couple people felt like, that show shouldn't have been on that. That sneaker shouldn't have been on that list. It was just a dope debate. Debating on which sneaker is hot, where it should go on this list, what's up with Kanye. All of these conversations that we had, even the John Morant stuff that I did on both my shows, all these conversations, all of those comments, all of y'all sharing the stuff. The Big Three was birthed from this. Shouts out to the Big Three, man. Shouts out to Big Three. Shouts out to Try Trade Up, man. I don't get that if it wasn't for this show. It wasn't for y'all and the feedback that you all gave. This show is nothing without you. I know people say that. I know that sounds cliche, man, but it is just the absolute truth, especially something like this. I'll be really honest. The other stuff I could talk about because I care about it, because I'm passionate about it, and I feel like it's important. With this, I'm not sure I could do a sneaker show for so long without y'all feedback. People that invited me on their shows because of What Are Those, man. Shouts out to my first kicks. Okay, who I had on this show as well. On and on and on, man. Loading Snacks, like other show people that just had me on their show because they were curious about what are those. They wanted to know what are those. I'm just happy, man. And that's why I say it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because I won't be able to come on here and chat with you guys on this platform, on this show anymore. But I'm happy because I feel like I accomplished everything I could with this podcast. I can look back and go, I had 6 seasons of podcasts on iHeartRadio and Fox and Up on Game talking about sneakers. Are there bigger content creators in this space? Absolutely. Absolutely. Blessed to have some of them on this show as well. Some of them I couldn't work out, but we had great conversations behind the scenes. We tried to make it happen. I'm just happy to have been able to do it. I'm happy to been able to entertain you all with this lighthearted stuff. Also, another thing I want to add is that I'm fully aware that this sneaker show came out at a time where there was a lot of crap going on in the news. We were in a pandemic. Some of the time we were still quarantined. We were just starting to get back outside. All of this, I'm fully aware of all of that. And I'm not sitting here claiming that I changed the world. But the feedback that I received from a lot of you just saying, nice little breath of fresh air. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate that, bro. Means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, man. So I'm happy. I'm going to miss doing this one. Maybe there's an opportunity to do a special every now and then, but I'm not sure. All I can tell you right now is that the What Are Those show, the curtain has closed. The curtain is closed up on this one, and this one will be put to rest for the time being. So I thank you. I appreciate you all, man. So what's next? Well, I am working on some things. Okay. In the meantime, the Butler Did It podcast is going to be in my link tree as always. You can listen to the Butler Did It podcast every Thursday. I'm going to, again, I'm working on some stuff, and I'm trying to do better at, I keep waking my baby up. I'm trying to do better at not putting too much information out, not putting the cart before the horse. So for right now, go to my link tree, go to my page, MSR_Adam, hit my link tree up. You can listen to the Butler Did It podcast. I will tell you one thing, one change that will come to the Butler Did It podcast, because again, the sneaker thing, I always try to keep it separate, but now this is what we're doing. That's that. I will have my sneaker of the week every week on that show. So you'll get a little taste of one of those. I have my featured sneaker of the week every week on the Butler Did It show. That's that's like my new piece to the show. That's something I can tell you is happening right now. Maybe I'll have more news next week in regards to we'll talk about it. Okay. So what's next for Adam right now? We're doing the Butler Did It podcast. And not much is going to change if you follow me. You're still going to be seeing my face all over, my beautiful face all over your screen. Okay. All over your screen. Don't you worry. Okay. Don't you worry. I have more information for you soon. Okay. Now, one thing I want to talk about before I go, when we come back, I got 4 Jordans that are coming out in 2023, not month by month, coming out for the rest of 2023, that I want to show you that I think you should cop, man. 4 Jordans. That's it. They J's. Okay. We'll be right back. Okay. So we're going to breeze through this one. We're not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to show you 4 Jordans that I think you should be copping, because I'm not going to be able to talk about them on this show moving forward. So let's get to these 4 J's that I think you should cop right now. The first one on this list is the Jordan 1 Royal Reimagine. Now, you know I love the Reimagine pack. I got the 3s, I got the 1s, okay? Now, my sneakers are upstairs. I can't show them to you, but you know you've seen them on the show before. I got the Reimagine 3s, the Reimagine 1s. My daughter has the Reimagine 1s. Y'all know I'm a big fan of this pack, and the Royals are no different. The thing that's different, the thing that the switch up that they did for the traditional Royal is that they added suede. Instead of a leather upper, it's a suede upper. And at first I thought they looked kind of goofy, I'm not going to lie. But now that I see the pictures of them, especially on feet, I love them. I think suede is a good compliment on that Jordan 1. I never really thought about it. Of course, there are some suede Jordan 1s, obviously, but not the traditional colorways, man. I think this is really dope. The Reimagine Royal 1. I am going after this one. By the way, every sneaker on this list is going to be some hype. I'm sorry, but you need to go after these. These are it. All right, let's get to number 3. Okay, number 3, and this is in no particular order. Number 3 is the Jordan 1 UNC toe, man. Now, if you're looking for a UNC Jordan 1, which are really hard, they're really difficult to come by. You spend a lot of money on the resale for UNC 1s, just is what it is. So you want to try to catch this one when it drops, man. The difference in this one, honestly, is that the UNC colors on the toe box, hence the name, the UNC 1 Carolina or UNC toe, whatever you want to call it, man. It's super dope. I endorse this sneaker, man. I like the Royals better, but if you can't get your hands on the Royals, go ahead and get these. All right, let's get to number 2. Okay, number 2 is the weirdest one on here. All right, now this is the most controversial pair. People are debating about these, but I like them, man. These new Union, they're a women's sneaker, but I think they're going to come in all, sizes. The woven Union LA, they look like a catcher's mitt, and I think that's why they cool, man. I like the kind of the weird design to them. I know when they first dropped the pictures, people were kind of, cold on them. I hope you stay cold on them, because I hope this sneaker is available. A Union Jordan 1 collab is always where it's at, man. I love this one. I think you should look into it. And hey, ladies, it's for you. So if the men, if the men sleep on it, cop this one. Sell it out. Why not? I like it though. So hopefully I get my hands on it. All right. The Jordan 1 Union Woven. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1 on this list. Remember that DMP pack, man? Remember those Jordan 11s that look like the Concords with a little bit of gold hit in them, man? Boy, they're dropping again on Christmas. This is a no-brainer. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining this one, because this sneaker is special. I'm so happy they re-releasing this one, man. The Concord Jordan 11 is like my all-time favorite, and this is like a 1B just because it's a little different than the Concord. It's got those gold hits, man, but you know, it's something about gold, man. I just like that right there, man. Listen, I don't gotta explain this one. If you're a sneakerhead, you know about this one, okay? This is a sneakerhead sneaker. Christmas time Jordan 11s, you know what it is, man. That pack was dope. That's my number one on my list. These are the sneakers that you should cop. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know if I missed any Jordans, or I know I missed plenty of sneakers. So let's talk about some of the sneakers that's coming out in 2023 that I won't get to review on this show because this show won't be around at that point. But we can still talk in the comment section, all right? Okay, man. Thank you all so much again for just supporting this show, for always being there. This is not the last episode. Next week's episode will be the last episode, but that will be more of a review of some of the things we did here and me just like kind of talking to some of the people that's been on the show and just sort of, you know, reminiscing about things. And honestly, we're going to just kind of talk about the culture, where we think the culture is headed. And is it good or is it bad? Is it headed in a good direction or a bad direction? Okay, so stay tuned to that one. That will be the last episode of the What Are Those podcasts. And again, man, thank you all. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all that you do, man. You guys are beyond incredible. You guys are beyond incredible, man. Thank you so much, man. Listen, this won't be the last time you hear this from me, but I gotta say it. Oh, but before we do that, remember to follow the squad, guys. It's going to keep rocking over on the Up On Game Network. New stuff dropping all the time. You won't see What Are Those, but you'll see a lot of dope content. So follow at Up On Game Network on all podcasting platforms, and of course on YouTube. Follow the squad, the On My Feet Network. They're going to be doing dope things for a long time, man. It's going to be my last show affiliated with them as well, man. So salute to those guys, man. It was great working with you. All right. Remember to mind your mental health, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking through this because my daughter's starting to wake up. Mind your mental. You heard her. Mind your mental health, ladies and gentlemen. Mind your mental health is the most important thing. If I didn't get anything from this show, please understand that. Mind your mental health is so important, okay? All right. Mind your physical health. You know what it is. Take care of yourself. Take care of your bodies, man. Do that for me. All right. And please, in August, you know what it is. Y'all hear her. She's saying it already. Please don't forget and always continue to be great. I'm up out of here. Peace.